I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if you'd all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, public comment on items not on the agenda. Anybody? Seeing none, we'll move on. Update from the Kennebec Sheriff's Department. Hi, thanks for coming.
Welcome. All right, so I believe I was here the last time you all met, and there was a complaint voiced about traffic on Keith Street and the connected roads there. So I have a report here from one of our deputies, Sergeant Yorks. He was on that road, did not observe any vehicles over 20 miles an hour. However, he was there in the morning, starting at 8:30 till about 1:30. That was the period of the detail. I don't know what time of day he was there, but probably not peak traffic times. Prior to coming over here, I also parked on that street from about 4 p.m. until I came over here. So roughly peak, rush hour traffic time. I didn't see any vehicles traveling over 30, and that was only one vehicle. Most were 25 and under. So it could just be that none of us are there at the right time. We'll continue to patrol that road, but no significant violations observed.
Is that log the September one or October? In your hand?
This is a collection of the detail reports.
Right. One we have
So-
September, we don't have October.
I don't recall.
This is
which one
October
sent it,
Okay.
but I can
and
look again.
some of November. Right.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get it, that's why I was asking, when we have September, I was making sure it was up to date. So that was good.
Okay. Yeah, talk to Staff Sergeant Dukel about getting those reports.
I know that they're very short-handed over there, they only gave us 5 details last month.
Yeah, we're short-staffed, so extra details are not being done as frequently until we cover our standard shifts. We've got guys at the academy, and it's gonna shift around here come the beginning of the year. We should be able to get back up to full swing on this stuff.
Okay.
But right now, we're limiting how many, whether it's China or Chelsea or anyone, of the special stuff
I
has to get
figured there was
vaccines.
something going on, a lot of people asking where you guys have been, I said, I don't know, and
Yeah.
obviously what it was, so.
Yeah, but I do have a few here. I can give you summaries on what's been going on. Check that. October 17, Deputy Curtis was patrolling, stopped 7 vehicles for speed at least 15 miles an hour over the speed, issued 3 tickets. Again, Deputy Curtis on October 20 stopped 8 vehicles for speed 15 or more over. Some tickets issued. Some tickets were issued for operating after suspension. I don't know why you would speed if you're on a suspended license, but it kind of draws attention to you. But Deputy Stefanizzi, working a morning detail, 0600 to 11 a.m. Stopped 5 vehicles. No comments about what's that's they were going, or whatever other issues he stopped them for. On November 14, Deputy Curtis again stopped 7 vehicles. He liked 7. Summons 1 for operating after suspension, issued a ticket for speed, and arrested 1 person on an arrest warrant. And then I mentioned Sergeant Yorks patrolling the Keith Street area. Also watched a residence on Ferry Road for suspicious activity and passed along information to deputies looking into that place. So
Those reports, do you know if they're Chelsea residents or are they pass-throughs? Does that say that on there, the stops and the arrests and or
Are the
citations.
persons involved, the drivers and passengers, Chelsea residents or passing through?
Exactly,
These reports don't say that,
no,
but our call notes would indicate, obviously, who the driver was, and you can figure all that out.
yeah.
Obviously, main roads are probably people passing through.
Sure, yeah.
Looks like, I failed to mention, there's some notes in some of these that indicate the deputy was, trying to balance their time between the side roads and the main roads. So, which is what I try to do, give a little attention to the side roads as well. So, you don't get as good numbers that way, but people do see you there and. Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you for the update.
Welcome.
Am I allowed to make a comment?
Sure.
Sure.
So I live on Keith Street,
Okay.
and it's primarily my neighbor and I that have been complaining.
Okay.
So like yesterday, they were parked there, like in the middle of the day, which is not prime time.
Right.
The prime time is like 6:30 to 7:30
In the morning.
in the morning. But it's literally the same, it's the same vehicles that do it like every single
Between
day.
6:30.
Between 6:30 and 7:30, and then in the evening,
5 to 8,
yeah, like 5
5 to 8.
p.m.
So a little later than rush hour. Well, 5 would be rush hour, but like right now, we're not even at 8 and.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so like cause I work from home, so I see the traffic and stuff.
How, and you haven't been trained in observing speed, but how fast would you estimate they're going?
There's some cars doing at least 50. We live right on that corner, so people like, there's
So
no
they're coming
stops,
around that corner and
and
just
they
hitting
floor
it?
it. Yes, yeah,
'Cause-
there's one Nissan that does, I think, at least
What color?
50
Silver.
gray. So,
Silver gray.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
jumps
like
the
an
house
Altima,
on
a
the street.
Nissan Altima?
No.
It's like a SUV box.
Silver Nissan SUV.
Yeah.
What's the other vehicle?
There's two, there's a GMC and a Chevy, newer ones,
from Beach Street,
yeah.
Yeah, they
not
live,
you,
no, they
your
live over by,
neighbors.
yeah, they live over
Yes.
by me.
Yeah.
And
That
they,
entire
they
curve.
jump the speed humps on Beach Street. It's
Yeah.
kinda funny
They're
watching.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's do this. Email me all the details.
okay,
I'll make sure that we pay attention and everything we shared here, email all that,
okay.
specific details about the cars.
There's what, a truck last night going through, no lights on, brown.
Yeah, there's been somebody just in the neighborhood that just being ignorant doing burnouts. I don't like, I mean, that's any town, but, and then there has been, I don't know if it's the flatbed,
It's the same
and
people.
truck speeding through at 2
Yep.
a.m. every night.
I know, I hear him.
Well, that sounds like a record truck.
Nope.
It's shorter than that,
Oh, okay.
but if that's just new, so.
Okay, yeah, email that to me.
Okay.
Admittedly, due to staffing issues, we haven't been out as much. And I did email all the deputies about your complaint from a month ago, but not as much action was taken as we would prefer. And Staff Sergeant Detail just repeated basically what I had shared, so we should be paying more attention.
I'll
All the
send you-
details are super helpful, because then we can just, get the right car.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanna know, do you guys patrol much in front of Crystal Falls, right on the highway, plus?
I was there one time and the manager of Crystal Falls came out and said, please move.
I wonder who that could be.
The attendees don't like it. I guess they wanna see if they can get away with a few drinks and,
Yeah,
yeah.
but when I see the cars now, since they fixed the highway, I'm going through a lot faster.
Okay.
They're picking up.
Well, we don't have to park right at Crystal Falls to catch the speeders. We park down by,
Oh, down there,
by
okay. I
the
just
tow, the rec yard there. That's where I said, they're gonna get there eventually
Yeah.
and so.
Yeah, but sometime right now, they blow by 70 miles an hour. I know that.
Yeah.
Because I know what speed looks
Surprising.
like, because of my brother was a state cop, I was with him for a long time.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Anybody else?
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great holiday. if We don't
Thank
see
you.
you.
You all too.
Public hearing, we have none on the agenda. Adjustments to the agenda.
Yes.
And
Chair Truman, we do have an adjustment to the agenda, hopefully, Assistant Chief Raymond should show up, he wants to speak about the water at Station 1 and an update on the back stairs. So, fingers crossed he shows up.
Okay. Get him in. Alright, moving on, approval of consent agenda items. A, AP warrant number 10 in the amount of $2,074.50. B, AP warrant number 11 in the amount of $347,426.95. AP warrant number 12 in the amount of $81,985.97. D, AP warrant number 43 from 2024 in the amount of $211.50. Payroll warrant week number 42 in the amount of $15,608.53. F, payroll warrant number 53 in the amount of $4,295.63. $4,295.63. Payroll warrant number 44 in the amount of $4,243.40. H, payroll warrant number 45 in the amount of $5,577.16. I, payroll warrant number 46 in the amount of $5,627.28. J, payroll warrant number 47 in the amount of $13,698.32. K, minutes from September 10th meeting. L, minutes from October 8th, 2025 meeting. M, warrant number 13, and that was a payroll warrant.
No, those are regular ones.
Okay, warrant 13 in the amount of $436,646.58. Any conversation, gentlemen?
I'm gonna either approve A through K. There's one back. Or L, not sure.
A through L?
Yeah. I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Perfect. And then I will make a motion that we approve warrant number 13 as read. Anybody second?
Yep, the second.
Okay, all those in favor? Perfect.
Are you opposed or? He's opposed. Vice Chair
Jake's
Susie's
opposed.
opposed.
Alright, schedule new items, new business. Discuss surrounding Windsor Road, Eastern Ave, new construction, Maine DOT, Marty Rudy and Gary Libby. And they're both here in the back row. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining. So, we're gonna just let them talk about what they did and why they did it. You have the floor, gentlemen.
Okay, the project was improved for safety, and there were a couple of public meetings as the project was under design. As you probably know, over the last 10 years, there have been fatalities out there. I think when Maine DOT evaluates safety improvements, we look at a number of things. How areas kind of rise to the top for funding. We look at the number of crashes. We look at the types of crashes and the severity. And kind of and there's different criteria based on crash frequency and crash severity that, how they score. And this location at a time was in the top 10 high crash locations in the state based on a balance of those factors. The primarily source of crashes were rear ends on Route 17. Also, there was about, I think, 29% of the crashes were from people heading down Windsor Road and not stopping at all and going. So our engineers from our safety office evaluated the location, and they made some changes, as you're aware, to Windsor Road to try to tee up the intersection to slow people down as they're approaching Route 17 and to encourage them to come to a complete stop. And the biggest change was the turning lane on Route 17 to Windsor Road to avoid the rear end crashes. as well as the different color medians, to hopefully help traffic, slow down as they approach the intersection. And the project was built this year. Thank the community's patience for the delays during construction. It is complete now, and based on the modeling and the analysis that our safety office uses, the mitigating factors that led to at least the most severe crashes, they shouldn't be repeated.
So you're saying 29% of the crashes are people coming off Windsor Road, not stopping at the stoplight at 17?
In a 10-year period, I think it was maybe 2013 through 22. There were several people failing to yield or failing to stop on Windsor Road. But the highest source of the crashes was people on Route 17 getting rear-ended as cars were waiting to turn.
So, I don't want to request you guys to come tonight. I had a lot of people reaching out, asking a lot of questions on, you guys have the flashing stop lights, which is fancy, that should be driving. How the end of the road just turns like that, and then the big drop off in the ditch. Why you guys didn't extend the casings out, level that off for a turning lane in there to go right and left, it would solve all the problem. And now there's a huge canyon there with 2 feet of water in there. And our fire department isn't volunteering anymore, it's a paid service, so taxpayers I'm looking out for, and the safety is my biggest concern at this point. And even when they plow the road off the Windsor Road, you guys put that curb in there, but I don't know where the snow's supposed to go. So to make that bend's gonna be nearly impossible.
Well, the state is concerned with taxpayer funds as well. And when we make these investments to improve the highways, proper drainage to protect the highway, to protect the subservice is probably the most important thing that we can do. And when we also talk about road side slopes, that slope out there is a 3-to-1. The road was built to state standards. You can design roads in different ways. Crashes can happen based on speeding, based on driver impairment, based on distracted driving. But as far as how that intersection was constructed, it was constructed to all standards. And as you're approaching Route 17, up to the stop sign, you should be at a relatively low rate of speed with the stop sign right there, and you shouldn't leave the road. The slope out there is 3-to-1. We, on Route 17, on roads throughout the state, we have 3-to-1 slopes. A 3-to-1 slope is considered transversable, meaning as you leave, if you do leave the road, you can drive on it. A 4-to-1 slope is what you'll see on sections of Route 17 as part of the project. Is considered transversable and recoverable, meaning you can leave the road, and depending on what vehicle you have, depending on the condition of the side of the road, you may be able to recover and turn on the highway. Why do we do a 3-to-1 slope in certain places and a 4-to-1 in others? It comes down to a couple of things. One is how the roads kind of classified. Roads in the state of Maine are in 5 classifications. The number 1s are kind of like Route 1 in the interstate, based on kind of the regional purpose that they do. Number 5s are kind of more local municipal roads. That's a factor in that. Route 17 is a highway corridor priority 2, and Windsor Road is a highway corridor priority 5. If we did use, when we do these different slopes, it's not just a less steep slope. It also uses a lot more room to get to the ditch, and that means more real estate is needed for the project. So how we manage the slopes and how we build the projects, we look at a number of factors. But you'll find, if that looks, we've been out there 3 different times with different engineers since the project was built. We've measured in it because there's no vegetation, because it looks, we have before and after pictures, and it is just for you folks who drive it on a regular basis. It is a major change than what was there before, but there's 3-to-1 slopes on highways throughout the state.
Yeah, just my biggest concern is that big hole, like, there was, they weren't there before, and why guys didn't extend the casings out so it's not a hazard, like, that's, the first snowstorm, there's gonna be cars in that hole, cause they're coming off 17, cause the road isn't straight anymore, and they're cutting across the lane that's already sitting there, that's gonna cause that right in that huge hole. I don't know why you guys didn't extend the casings over and problem solved. To me, it's a liability big time. I don't know. No answer for that.
I can just repeat what I said, is how we evaluate these projects, and there's different federal and state standards for how highways are, how highways are built, and factors for people that leave the road can be, like you said, it can be weather conditions, it can be where the condition of an automobile, the condition of tires, animals in the road, a whole host of factors. Hopefully they won't, but if they do, that slope is similar to slopes on other roads in Chelsea and roads everywhere in the state of Maine.
And the ditches shouldn't have water in them, there's a lot of water in that ditch. I don't know why, there's plenty of pull there to get the water out, it's full of water, I don't know why. That's another issue, I don't.
But when I've been out there, there hasn't been any water in it.
Take a ride over there right now, it's 2 feet of water in it, so. Thanks,
Okay.
I get where at the intersection you moved it to the left. Because everyone in here that has come to that intersection, most everyone is going towards Windsor. And it's a big look over your left shoulder, looking towards Augusta to see if anyone's coming. So I get where you moved it left so that when you come to a stop, you're basically square to the road and you can see both sides. I get that. The people that are coming, and again, we've all seen this, people coming from Windsor, coming in hot, cutting across the intersection to the Windsor Road. They're just gonna have to learn that there's a new intersection there, and are there gonna be accidents? There probably are gonna be. But they've gotta learn to slow down and not be in such a hurry. The ditch is pretty deep. I live on the River Road side, Route 9. I don't get out there that often. Jake has been talking about that ditch, since it's been done. I did go out there, it was last week or the week before. And it is a big ditch. Did you do any studies? And there is, when I was there is some water in there. So the water's coming across. Now there is a pond up in back there, behind your place. Was there any study or any looking into where this water is coming from? Was that a concern across the road somewhere? Because it's coming from somewhere. And are you concerned at all during plowing season when our state trucks and or our town trucks pushing snow into that ditch and not plugging up the hole or things like that, if there is water coming through that culvert. I mean, was that looked into, was that a concern, was it talked about? I don't know if it's gonna be a concern,
And
I'm just asking.
when we have, the designers have different checklists, for when we do projects. We have, multidisciplinary teams review the design, including kind of our Region 2 Augusta office that's in charge of all the plowing. And that is that's one of the major considerations, snow storage, and snow going to that ditch, and then we will need to monitor it. I mean, I can tell you that in Chelsea and Kennebec County and different places in the state in the spring, there will be, pipes that get clogged and they're not gonna drain property. I can't tell you why, I can't predict which ones, and that's part of, that's part of winter maintenance, it's part of, spring maintenance when things start to thaw.
Was there a culvert, again, I didn't see your project, don't go out there a lot. So did you put a new culvert across 17? Or what we see when we come to 17 off Windsor Road, is that the old culvert that was under that road when you started the project? Is that the same culvert? Now that the project is done, is that the same
I think
culvert?
I think they replaced, I think there's new catch basins, and I think there's a couple new culverts.
And it, I believe it's plastic.
It is cement. And the part they took out where Crystal Fall is, there's a culvert over there that was damaged because the cars had hit it before. So they replaced that piece, but they did not replace it under the highway. But they did extend, coming this way on the Windsor Road, they did extend a couple pieces down there. But it's about a 3-foot cement culvert, about 3 inches thick. But there ain't no difference, I see, I've been there for 40 years, and I don't see any difference in the water. Why would you make a ditch on the Windsor Road that deep? Because there was no problem before. And they make one that deep, there was no reason, the water still drained every year, as it was. It's no better now than it was, because they extended the culvert, plus they made a big hole.
That's part of the engineering process,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
You know, that's above our pay grade, so, but I would assume that that's part of the engineering process. You know, from 30, 40 years ago, that probably wouldn't have been like that. But as time goes on, and I'm sure the engineers, that's how they design a project, and I mean, it is what it is. You know, if there's crashes, I guess the state will deal with it, the town will deal with it, you know, and hopefully nobody gets seriously hurt.
Even in front of my place, they dropped the ditch way down, and they said because the water runs down there. I said, there ain't no water that runs down there. The lady above me, they took her culvert out and filled it solid, with no culvert. So if they did that, that means there ain't no water running down 17. So, that's all I got, so, you know, what I see.
So moving forward in, say, the next year, will there be, studies done on crashes and if there's more damage to people's vehicles because they end up in that ditch, or Jake's concern, if there's a lot of snow in there and ice in there, and that becomes a problem, will that be resolved in a short window, or are we looking at another 10-year study before anything would be done to address those concerns?
Well, if they're, call the department if there's issues,
Okay,
and we'll evaluate it.
mm-hmm.
And it's all based on, it's all like that previous 10-year study, it's all based on the cause and effect.
Correct.
If there's 10 crashes in 1 year, but there's 1 ice storm, or if there's, are, we do, look at, I mean, anytime a police officer anywhere enters an incident, that goes into our database and we circle by locations. So if those sort of crashes, if those sort of reported crashes happen, that's information available to us, but if issues come up, let us know.
Okay, and then the curbing that you put there on the Windsor Road coming to 17, if that gets damaged by our plow trucks because they have to push the snow back, is the town gonna be liable for that repair to that curbing?
I don't believe so.
I don't know.
You don't believe so?
I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't, I don't believe they are. I mean, it's, you know, we have a curb that gets damaged from plowing, and they will usually replace it somehow, but
Okay,
I can't answer that 100%.
right. I mean, obviously, we have a new contractor, they've been plowing for years, but, if it's as tight as it is, there may be damage. I just wanna make sure the town's not gonna be liable for that. Okay, all right. Christine?
When that project first started and you were in development phases, I had written a letter to DOT concerned with the trucks coming across Windsor Road that were overweight. And I was assured with a response that there would be a sign posted on 17 saying permanent truck route 1 mile ahead, so that they would come across this road and not use Windsor Road. Windsor Road is posted for 23,000 pounds. DOT placed a sign out on Eastern Ave that says Windsor Road 10-ton limit. So there's a contradiction there.
Do you still have copies of the letter?
I can find it in my file, yes.
Yeah, email those to me.
I will,
You have my email address and we'll follow
yes.
up.
Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
If there is an accident right there where the Windsor Road is and whatever, I got 18 cameras out,
Perfect,
inside and out, and it's color even nighttime when it comes in. And it's really good, and you got zoom on it.
perfect, I
And
love
you can
it.
see what's happening. You know, it's a lot of time I see the cars go by and whatever.
So if we need it, we can,
You guys
Follow you
know how to
up?
run the system? You're better than I am, you can use it. I don't know how to really use it. I had to call somebody to come in and to tape, you know, on a thumb drive.
Yeah.
But it does work good,
perfect. We may be calling you.
no problem.
Yeah.
You'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Help you.
All right. Any further discussion from the board? All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us to answer our questions, and I'm sure we'll have you back in the future to see how this winter goes.
Okay.
All right?
Can I say just one thing?
You sure can.
I reserved 10 cars from Windsor Road, going to 17, and they turn in on 17, but they wanna go Rockland. So they're turning, but what they're doing, they're going into the passing zone, I call it the speed zone, from Rockland, they're coming down through. And the guy yesterday morning had to go to the ditch because the cars are going too far into the other lane. And out of 10 cars, there were 6 cars that went into the other lane, from the Windsor Road. Because we see everything over there, I mean, it's wide open to us.
We'll keep an eye on it. We'll, if we have to revisit it, we'll revisit it, and we'll keep working towards a solution.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Moving on, TIF education discussion with Reagan. It is my understanding that that will be tabled to our next December meeting, as Ms. Rochelle is has a personal matter to take care of. Okay. Moving on, number 3, discuss, actually, can we put Sean in now? Just because he's
I
here.
was late, I can wait a few minutes, keep going.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay, thank you for your patience with us. Discuss with Murray appraisal reevaluation plan. You have the floor.
Oh my God, I'm following sheriff's departments and roads people, I don't know if that gets any more exciting. So, I've got, we had a proposal from a month or so ago, I brought it with me for a review, no decisions at all.
Okay,
As to what we would be doing, what we are looking at. So there's two portions. One is the assessor agent portion of what we do day in, day out. Originally, there was gonna be a performance review on this gentleman in April or so to see if he was doing his job, which I'm sure he was. So we were assuming that we're past that point at this point. Christine has not kicked him out of the building, so we're in pretty good shape. So I've got a proposal for 3 years for assessor's agent, and then a separate suggestion, we can call it proposal, suggestion for doing a 4-year plan on the reval, looking at funding and costs and all those kinds of things. That's for your consideration to look through that at your leisure, and we'll come back to that. That does not have to be done in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
We're assuming the assessor's agent side, if you're happy with what's going on, and we'll just continue going with that and memorialize that with a contract. I brought with me, and as attached to this, you're gonna see, basically, the yellow one is what you have. It's a different town, but they're the same. What the yellow card is what you have in your files mostly. Just a degree of quality and all those kinds of things. And then the other card is the same property in Warren as where I was today. And you'll see a dramatic difference with how that looks and how it's kept up to date and the cleanness of that property. The most important thing I'll point out to you, and you've mentioned it before, with your system as you have it now, if you want to add $3,000 to everybody's land value, it has to be done individually, one at a time. How many properties are there?
Oh, gosh.
1,500, something like that. Obviously, that takes a tremendous amount of time. As part of the revaluation, this will all be loaded into a property record that looks like the one that's nice and pretty. And if we wanted to add $3,000 to everybody's land value for whatever reason, it would take 90 seconds. And that's where you're at right now. You're all paper changes. And
That's if you stayed with the current system.
that's if you stay with the current system. It's all paper, it's all time intensive, labor intensive to change values across the board.
And there's 7 land values.
I don't know how many land schedules you have, but there's a bunch of them. So those all get done individually. But the way you have it now, it doesn't happen easily at all. So that would be the upside is then, and that would apply to anything. If we get 4 years out from now and we need to adjust building values by $8 a square foot, it's applied equitably throughout the town, not individually throughout the town. Obviously, all the things, once it's loaded, the cost of keeping it up to date is dramatically less. And I would suggest somewhere probably in the neighborhood of 20% as compared to a full reval. That's my history with the towns and the towns I work in. Updates are a lot cheaper. Going prices right now for revaluations are $140, $160 a parcel, or in that neighborhood to get this set up. If you move forward, Joe would be here every week, and 1 week would be reval and getting data loaded and then getting out into the field in another year or so to get it done. I'm going to say 4 years because I think that's a smarter estimate. We can get it done before that, we'll have it done before that. But it's gonna take some time to go to every single property, and we wanna compress that inspection time as much as possible as well. A lot to do. So I would suggest if you wanna move forward with us, that's one option. I definitely suggest that you move forward or consider putting it out to bid, seeing what the world is looking at as well. There are about 540 some municipal units in the state. About 70, 75 of them had revals of some extent this year, just to give you an idea of what's going on. So everybody that's got anybody that's doing assessor's agent and reval work, they're all really, what we want to stick to basically the town's we're in. We're not going to do anything freeform for anybody else. So that's where we're at. It's not as exciting as ditches and police officers, but long-term impact is, if it gets done right, the long-term impact for the town is much lower cost going forward. But you gotta get there.
Right.
You're not there yet, so.
When was our last revaluation?
2012 or
12,
13?
yeah.
Okay.
done some factoring. There are town managers and other assessors in the state who know what I think about factoring, flatline factoring. It's probably the worst thing you can do when it comes to, it creates and causes more problems. Now, there are some parts of town that need to go up 5%, and there are some parts of properties that need to go up 40%. If you flatline factor 20%, you're really whacking both unfairly. I've been very vocal about that, because it's not the way to do it. It's hard enough without purposely discriminating against people. It's already hard enough. So.
And it's costing us money for the school budget.
Yeah, they're using, more than likely the school's using a 2-year running average of the state valuation. That's what the usual habit is.
Yeah, isn't it something about the state, because our evaluation is so old, they're not using that, they're going with current sales prices during COVID.
Yeah,
And
which,
actually inflating our town value.
so whether it's inflating or not, it's the values that are out there.
Yeah.
And so that's the market. And if the market changes, let's say
Yeah.
you are where you are, and the market goes down 10% or 20%, you want lower values, they all have to be done individually. That's where you're at. The assessor's responsibility is to measure the market, not to draw conclusions whether it's a bubble or not.
Right.
And once the revaluation is done, then we're looking at a 15 or 17-year time frame. Going forward, I would strongly suggest that the town do updates every 2 or 3 years, just to have smaller impacts to property owners. You're gonna see some people get swiped with this kind of time frame. There's just no way around it. You either fix it once or you peel the duct tape off and get it fixed. It's just,
Where are we with their contract?
we don't have one.
Yeah,
I know they took over for,
We're expired.
for Roger,
all right, so
RJD appraisal, yes.
we have, I mean, that's gonna go to town vote,
Yep, oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
The contract,
so,
Revaluation,
well, no, I'm saying you wanna get inked for like 4 years, so whatever you have in here for pricing, it's gotta get put through the budget,
absolutely.
and then hopefully the townspeople approve that.
well, we already have a line, and I don't have the number in front of me, that is paying Murphy appraisal, okay?
Yeah, but not for
Right,
4 more years, I don't
For the
think.
assessor's
agent side.
Yes, for the assessors.
Yeah.
Yes, and you're asking for a 3-year contract for that, correct?
Right,
Okay,
so even though there might be a 10-year contract, but every year is subject to town funding. So there could be a contract, but if the town doesn't fund it, so we're gonna find somebody else to play with.
I believe we had budgeted roughly $710 a day when Roger was here, if I remember correctly, and you agreed to hold that
Stay with
on
that.
until we got the new contract, so.
So here's my 2 cents on, and I'm not,
No, you're fine.
okay. When we did our reval, if I remember correct, back in the day, and I think this is, I don't know how long it's been like that, but they used to value the properties, the land values, the first 2 acres were the same, then after that, it was priced, I think $7.50 an acre or whatever it
Yeah.
was. Depending on if it was backland, swamp, field, whatever.
Yep.
So when we did this reval, I was and still am, it's my opinion that our land values are absolutely way off with their 6 or 7 values. They put us all in categories 1 through, I thought our homes were okay, and I'm not an assessor, never took up, but that was our,
I have no idea what they did.
that was our job as select people. But I feel that our land values are just absolutely right off the charts, wrong. I don't know if the old system was the correct way, but that's the way it was, and it was changed. And it's my opinion that before we do another reval, I think there should be a meeting to discuss with people what we feel about that old system. Now, I understand the way we are now. If you're making a change like that, that is absolutely gonna change the values, and good or bad. But I did a lot of research on land values, and there is just stuff that is just absolutely crazy. And I think when people open up their values and look at their land, compared to the old days and the new, and the way it is now, just my opinion, I was against it when we did it, still against it to this day. Not saying that the old way was the correct way, but everybody was treated equal.
Right.
Your first 2 acres was this, and it was $750, I think, by the time we changed it in 2012, I think everyone got whacked $750 an acre after that. It was fair. People abated it at times because of some of their backland and whatever. I just feel we should have a discussion about that. What you think, what we as residents think. That's just my concern about our land values.
It's, what I'll be doing if we move forward with this, we'll have a first acre value that is gonna be whatever it is, whatever the market tells us. Acres 2 to 5 might be something, acres 6 to 20 might be something less. The goal of that is to, in an ideal world, is to look at all the land sales at 2 acres, and they all sold for plus or minus whatever. That's gonna be the average for that 2 acres, and then as acreage sales get bigger in acreage, there's a less price per acre as they get larger. And I can hit, all day long, I can hit a 2 acre sale, and I can hit a 10 acre lot. I can get those right all day long. The 50 acre sales and the 100 acre sales waffle all over the place in all my towns from year in, year out, and it's hard to hit those. But at least we'll be consistent based on that curve of acreage. The upside will be is that we're gonna ask for information from people. How much swampland do you have? Is it a third of your site or half your site or whatever it is? And we're gonna go with it. It's not gonna make a huge difference in value, but it's gonna make sure that we recognize that everybody knows their property better than any of us will ever know anybody else's property.
You said the word consistency, and that's,
Exactly.
back in the day, it was consistent.
Yeah.
I paid the same for my first 2 acres
Yep.
as everyone in here.
Yep.
And then from there it changed.
Yep.
But I think this 7 tier, like tier 1 was like 25,000, tier 2 was up in the 40s, and it was just, I don't know, it's just my opinion, but I think it's just way
How I think it's going to be is, I'm gonna look at the data, we're gonna plot the sales out of the vacant land sales, see where they are, see what it looks like, and then make decisions from there. There are definitely neighborhoods in the town.
I mean, how are other towns? Do they have this 6 or 7 tier system, or are they?
It depends on the towns. The town of Waldo, we have 2 property classes, because the town of Waldo's got one road that we could prove was less than others. It's a discontinued dirt road. But that town is generic like you wouldn't believe. It's dirt and trees and fields and done. In Union, I've got 3 classes on Route 17. High elevation, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 6 or 8 in Union. Raymond's on the ocean, they've got 3 just on the ocean. So it depends on the town, what does the market tell us? That, we're gonna interpret what that is and then apply it consistently. It's not gonna be whether I think it's high or think it's low. It's gonna be what does the market tell us? And then set it up so that next time out, after this first one, that everybody's gonna be very upset with, because it's gonna be a big change. The one after that, we'll refine it again and see where we are. The first one after a long period of time, it's been my experience, it's very trying on people, because there's a lot of change. It's like your intersection at Route 17. I've driven through there and I love it, because I slow down, I take my time, and I'm a good driver. If you're gonna run through the intersection, you're gonna get what you get. It's the same thing with assessing. If you're gonna just run through the data and not take your time with it. You know, I've done revaluations in towns where I've had 0 abatements, because we took our time and communicated with taxpayers and got as much information out to them and back from them that, you know, we've had very few. We just did Owl's Head. There were 7 of a 1,500 parcel town, 22 years, 3 years, we think, since the last real comprehensive reval. We got 7 abatements. But that was reaching out and getting it back and making adjustments and going to the properties and listening to people and getting their feedback. But it takes, you know, we're gonna spend 4 years here, because I'm gonna under-promise and maybe do it in 3, but I'm gonna plan on 4, because I wanna make sure it's done right, because we're dealing with paper data that's not been touched. And we're gonna use that to start with, but we're gonna verify it out on the planet.
Thank you.
So if we make the investment in going digital and doing this way, what's your estimate cost?
On
What's the
next one?
return on our investment? Like, how long is it gonna take to pay off this investment?
So the reval, the cost of what I have for a number is you're looking at an increase of value of $14 million roughly. That's gonna be flat out, no problem. Once that first reval is done, I'm gonna do an update in Newcastle. The first one was 15 years ago, it was 90,000 15 years ago. The last update I did for them 2 years ago was 25,000, because I've been there for a long time, got good data, stay up on the permits, go, check, and then, but the data's all loaded, and it's loaded right the first time. And then we look for it, it's like, well, did that really work out the way you thought it was? It did based on evidence, but things change. The market changes, and it doesn't change equally. Some properties move at different rates and types of properties. When I was in St. George in the early 2000s after 9/11, there was not a property sold for 4 months. And then the ocean was going up 30% per year. So, but the rest of the town didn't go up 30% per year. So, but you gotta be on top of it, you just can't. Towns spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for reval, and they throw it in a box and don't maintain it. You know, we don't do that with our buildings and our roofs and our fire trucks and everything else and our roads. We do reserve accounts and we stay up on it. And that philosophy, I think, is really where the state has fallen down. We're off topic a little bit, but.
Thank you. Steve, do you have any questions? Any public comment? Seeing none, thank you so much, and we'll look at that contract and get you back on the agenda.
Joe, you keep showing up, they pay you?
Absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen, have a
Thank
great
you.
holiday.
Good to see you again.
Yes, you too. All right, moving on, number 4, new road name, Bell's Way, 335 Nelson Road. All right. Is this a new road, new 911?
It is a driveway that will now have 2 houses on it. I believe off the Nelson Road, if my memory's
Yep.
serving me correctly.
Okay.
Your E911 addressing officer Pete Coughlin did double check with surrounding towns. There is no such name that's very similar to that, especially if there's an emergency, so his suggestion was Bell's Way. We'll quickly approve it, we'll make sure we get the sign ordered and we get it up before the snow flies.
Perfect. Any discussion on the board? I'll make a motion that we approve the naming of 335 Nelson Road to Bell's Way.
Second.
Perfect. Second, all those in favor? All of us in favor, no one abstains. And no one against. Perfect. All right. RSU number 12 bus contract.
This is basically a standard every year that you as the select board address. This is the transportation agreement with RSU 12. The price for fiscal year 26 that they did quote in the contract was $27,362.65. We did budget this year $32,000, so we'll be under budget.
I love that.
If you approve their transportation agreement.
Any discussion from the board?
No.
Any public comment? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the RSU number 12 bus contract for the fiscal year 26 in the amount of $27,362.65. Jake second. All those in favor? All three of us? Alright, moving on. Discussion regarding new rate for the fax line.
We were informed last week that GWI is going to increase the cost of our fax line, the 5880025 number, from $49.90 a month to $148 effective January 1. Their cost basis behind that was maintenance of keeping the copper lines up in this area. They attempted to do this last year and I put them off for a year, explaining that we were having problems with the fax line. They came, looked at our wires. It's kind of been a long story, but our fax has been not very well working, I guess you can say. It's just, faxes don't come in, faxes don't go out. So my ask of this board is seeing the budget increase. We didn't prepare for that, and knowing that most insurance companies and most businesses and entities that we deal with will go through email, that we just get rid of the fax line.
Okay.
It's old, and everybody uses email now.
Alright.
You'll still have the ability to scan,
Correct.
absolutely.
Jake, any questions, comment? Any public comment?
I'll make a public comment. I heard you make a comment on secure. My accountant emails me very secure information that's encrypted and you have a password. So there's ways to send encrypted emails. So I agree, for $150 a month, get rid of it. And anything that's questionable, you can send an encrypted secure email now. And there shouldn't be anything that confidential coming. If there is, then.
Not in fax, I would think.
Well, if you're gonna send it in a fax, then it's probably shouldn't be going into email either. But, yeah, it's $450 a month, anything Word, you can send it to, there's ways
It used to be, I mean, everybody wanted, oh, let's fax it. And then still occasionally have the older generation, can I have it faxed? Well, call your insurance, here's an email, and it goes very quickly, so.
Yep.
So just a motion to nix that would be great.
I'll make a motion that we discontinue our current fax line 207-588-0025. The only thing that I would ask is that we put that on our website, just in case the public is looking at it, at least it's out there. I know that social media isn't the best way or the only way, but maybe we could have some signage up too, for our citizens.
I'll second.
All right, Jake second, all those in favor?
I just have a question, I mean, I'm in favor, I mean, isn't that your discretion? I mean, why would you need that town office is, you run that town office.
Well, I think it's best to get it out there because somebody will say, well, why did she disconnect the fax line without telling anybody? So, and you guys have had that number for years and years and years and years, so.
Yeah.
It is a pretty big change for some people in town, like.
Yeah.
It is. If you're older, it is gonna be a big change for some of your older generation.
Who's in that older generation? I mean,
Go tell my father-in-law, I can't fax anymore.
All right, so all of us were in favor, so we're nixing the fax line and we'll get signage out. All right, moving on.
Sean,
You're up. Water and backstairs?
I have 4 things on the agenda.
Oh, well, bring 'em.
I'll try to make them as quick as possible, but, Spencer and Phil and I talked, the new truck came back yesterday from its, let's call it 100-day warranty. So that's back from the warranty and the distributor, the dealer, Brunswick. That truck now will be finished with outfitting and it'll be going over here to the Togus Road Station the next 3 weeks. And that was over here, so, there's one item that's lingering on the warranty. That's a Freightliner issue that they're working through right now to get approval on that, so. Any questions on that?
how many miles on that vehicle?
On the new one? I couldn't even guess at this point. It came from Florida, so it drove from Florida
Oh, it
first.
drove, no kidding.
That was its break-in period, and then we had it about 90 days, and it went down to Brunswick for our warranty checklist. Things we found, issues we found, there were about 17 items on there that they took care of, except for the one, that has to go through Freightliner, to go get warranted. That'll be, finish the outfitting, and that'll be getting moved over here in the next couple weeks for time frame, and then it'll go back to Freightliner once we get the warranty approval. You gotta go through the process.
Freightliner Westbrook?
Probably, and they usually pick it up and take it, and it's a day thing, they'll take it down, drop it, and bring it back. So they've been good about dropping off and picking up and helping with that too, so the dealer out of Brunswick, so, yeah, so that was one of them.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
For just a moment? If you will recall, I had mentioned something about the class action lawsuit with the new fire trucks. I did indicate that we would be interested in possibly being a party to that. And my understanding is that class action lawsuit is on with municipalities that have purchased the vehicle, not leased it as we have. So pending when we pay our last payment in 2 more years, we may be able to tag on to that, but as it stands right now, it's not with leased fire trucks.
How about ones that are already purchased?
The same freaking. Oh, this is paperwork, it's the same vehicle.
You know, Freightliner's in Winslow now, right?
They deal with it.
Yeah, I'm
they
saying,
do.
Fifty.
it was closer.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the dealer just deals with it, so, yeah. It's a warranty item, so, yeah. Second thing is, we had our quarterly ambulance advisory board meeting in Gardner last week. So I have some preliminary budget information and some information on that, that I'll pass on. I'll give the sheet to Christine and I'll email it over this week. Chief Seaberg, or I call him Rick, just got it to us this week. We had a couple of questions. Currently, we're running with 5 members on the ambulance down in Gardner. We run 2 ambulances with a fly car, which is an SUV right now. We've been running that way for about 2 years. That fly car is the captain or officer for the shift. We're running around 3,000 calls or so down in Gardner now for the 7 communities a year. The other issue that's been coming up, or I've talked about, that some people have seen is Central Maine Medical Center is closing their trauma center affiliation in December. So all traumas will have to end up in Portland or Bangor. So it's gonna add travel time and out of service time for municipalities and ambulance services. Currently, we cover 7 towns. We do half of Chelsea, and the people that don't know, we do Gardner, Richmond, West Gardner, Farmingdale, Pittston, Randolph, and Litchfield. So we're doing about 3,000 calls, which is around 8 to 10 calls a day with those 2 trucks. We are proposing that we add 2 more staff in the upcoming 26-27 budget, so we can staff 3 ambulances versus 2. We would not have the fly car, but it would give us a 3rd ambulance on the road, let's call it 6 days a week, except for Sundays. We would have at least 3 ambulances available in the Gardner area. We're somewhat fortunate where we live because right now we split that difference with Augusta because we pay Augusta for half of the service in Gardner. So right now, we're lucky. If Gardner can't take a call, Augusta takes it and vice versa. And there's never any quorum about it, but some of these towns like Richmond, Litchfield, and other places that are covered by Gardner, if there's not an ambulance available, they're waiting for places like Topsom to come up to Richmond. There's some waiting and some services there. He did send me their local, or the 2024 numbers last year. They did 224 calls here in town, and 151 of them they transported, and there was like 60 something that they didn't. And then he broke it down by hospital where they went. So I'll forward that to Christine just so you have that information to look at too. But we're looking at a small budget increase of next year if we decide to add this 2 more staff members in the next upcoming budget, so we can have 3 ambulances on the road versus the 2, and I call it half of that, 2.5. The fly car has been great for the last couple of years, but you can't transport with it. It's 1 person on the road, and you have to wait for an ambulance to come to transport somebody. So we're gonna be, Rick and I will be going to the towns in this upcoming, after the holiday, December, when budgets start, because all 7 communities now are on the same cycle. We all do July 1 through June 30th, and we'll be approaching all the budget committees in the towns to talk to them about the added staff for next year and see what it is. breakdown, it's roughly $9,000, and that's on the high side for this town to get another ambulance on the road. Right now, between the 7 services, so it's roughly $9,000 per community.
With Lewiston closing, it's kind of a no-brainer, we gotta have to. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
I just think,
a lot
just
longer.
giving you, some information to think about, and like I said, after the holiday, Rick will be coming around when we start to get into budget stuff, and I'll be going with him to the budgets and the different towns just to give them the proposal on, the upcoming changes and to see where we're at, and see what we can do to do that. Maybe get another 3rd ambulance on, okay?
Our unpaid balances are gonna go up too now.
Not necessarily, they're doing pretty well with that. We went through the budget the other day, and the fee schedule, uncollectibles are doing really well. The budget, the collection agency and the billing company we use out of Wyndham for the last 4 or 5 years has been doing really well with that. That breakdown, I believe, is on this one. If it's not, I'll get it from Rick.
Aren't we paying something right now?
That's past.
Well, that's what I mean,
collectibles.
Yeah,
Moving forward from this year, they included them in our regular payment.
correct. So
So-
we're gonna be doing away with the uncollectibles. So what we're doing is a 3-year
Average.
average of the uncollectibles, and it's going into each town budget.
Yes.
And then at the end of that budget gets approved, then you'll get no uncollectibles at the end of the year, because out of those 151 transports that Gardner did here last year, and the no transports, probably out of the 150 something of them, a lot of those weren't residents, because they're motor vehicle accidents or something like that, and they don't even live in town. Doesn't mean that they didn't pay their bill, but the chances are that some of those uncollectibles, a lot of them come from residents that don't live in town or aren't residents of town. So,
And we're on a payment plan with that, isn't it?
Past.
6 or 7
uncollectibles.
years?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, yeah, we just figured the committee and the budget committee down there decided that it would be best just to roll that number right in, so it's a known figure for the year. There's no, the end of the year, Chelsea owes like $29,000 in uncollectibles that we didn't set aside, so having this uncollectibles right into the budget and doing away with it is a lot easier, and it's easier for us to predict the budget, because we have a solid number to look at every year, versus going, well, we got all this uncollectibles and we wait 6 months or better to go, it has to go to collections, sometimes they get some payments, sometimes they don't. I've been involved with the board down there for 20 years or so now, and really this is the way to go as far as, budgeting purposes and, having to deal with the uncollectibles and looking into that future for that stuff, so.
They're not gonna have to buy a new truck with 2 new staff, are they?
No, currently we have a truck right now that's being re-chassis,
Okay.
and it should be back probably early mid-December. So that will give us 3 newer trucks. What we're doing now is there's four ambulances that the service owns. And we're looking at every year either re-chassing one or sending it out for refurb so that it comes back, so that we keep a new truck in line every 4 years. And this is the 3rd, and the 4th one looks like it's gonna go out right after this one to get re-chassis to be done. So, and that won't be anything to the budget, it's all included in that, right now, everything's looking good with that, so. Other than, we did get some money from Maine EMS, maybe a grant that just came out for some equipment, there was some equipment for like the life pack, for the monitor that they use, and like the power stretcher and a few things. That went out statewide, ambulance services put in a request for what they were looking for, so we were able to upgrade the ambulance that's being re-chassis now with a new monitor and power chair and all that, or power stretcher and everything that's coming out, so, that got awarded, so that was freebie money that we got out of the state, grant that came out, that other services also got, so, yeah. Any questions on that? No? Okay, I'll make sure to leave this, and I'll forward you that one from him on the service numbers, so you can look at that and where they're going, run numbers, which town's using how many, service-wise, but it's a big geographic area. I think we said the other day, it's 226 square miles, that we're covering with 2.5 trucks, so, and we're going as far as Mid-Coast, Lewiston for now, Portland, Augusta, so St. Mary's, some of those in Lewiston, so turnaround time for the ambulance sometimes is 2 to 3 hours, depending on the call and where they go.
Unfortunately, a lot of the calls are not emergencies.
So,
We might have more with the Windsor Road 17 things.
all right, 3rd thing was the water test that we got completed. I had a company through down in Scarborough, they came in and did a lab test a couple weeks ago. We got it back, I think I forwarded you the info on that.
They have it.
Yeah, The only thing that really came back that kinda sticks out right now for the water at the Hollow Road is the arsenic level is just barely above the state recommended level. So I asked the company down there to give me a ballpark idea on what we need. It's a reverse osmosis system if we were to do it. And the budget number that he got back, and it's not firm, but they will put together a proposal on it if we wanna move forward, but it's around $2,600 for the reverse osmosis system to take care of that arsenic level, to bring it down below the state level. There's no radon, there's nothing else in the water down there that was harmful or bad on their end. So they were pretty surprised and pretty pleased with the test. So it's really up to us, or you folks and us, if we wanna go ahead and move forward with the water treatment system at some point and have them come in and do a system on it. It does require a yearly test, which is about $40 a year. So if we put the system in, they also do a contract that they come in once a year and just test the water to make sure the system's working the way it is supposed to, and that sort of thing, so. And I think there's a 3-year warranty on the system from when I talked to Radar the other day down at Maine Water, Radar.
My suggestion would be for this board to authorize it taken out of reserves, which town meeting does allow you to do that. Currently in his fire department equipment investment, he has about $5,300, and just in his fire department equipment reserves, he has about $5,600. So I would suggest we take it out of the equipment reserves, bring it down to about 2,500 roughly, and,
Yeah, what do you think you wanna do with it?
What do you think, John?
It's been this way we haven't had a water test down there for a long time.
You don't drink the water, right?
No, we do bottled water from Poland Spring annually. The only thing that we have is the
ice
really
machine.
is the ice machine, but it goes in coolers for rehab purposes and whatnot like that, and it's actually shut off now till probably April, May, when it starts to get warm again, so.
Henry said we could put those ice cubes in our glasses and drink.
If we do if we do the water system, I guess, yeah, we could, so.
You did.
It was.
No, he didn't.
So,
So when you get the system in, you'll be able to drink the water at now?
they'll do another test and they'll send us back a new lab test that's included with the system, and it'll give us a complete, they guarantee that the arsenic level will drop. I think, what is it, like 10.48 it came in at, and the state level is like 10 point something.
10.0.
So it's just barely above the state recommended level, so.
As it is a public building, my suggestion would be that we install that system. Especially if we ever end up building a new fire department and we sell that, we're gonna need to address that at that point anyway, so.
What part of the town is where the arsenic is?
This is the Hollow Road station.
On the old Hall Road?
Yeah,
Right beside the shop on the lake.
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
it's
Was
still
there
there.
an apple orchard nearby, way back, people took care of them?
I don't know.
Well, it abuts McGee's. It abuts McGee's.
When Roderick had his farm there with the chickens,
Way back.
there were apple fields
Yeah.
there.
Cause the old farmers used arsenic for the bugs in the apples, and then it went down to the groundwater.
Yeah, but anytime you sell a house nowadays, the home inspection comes in and they always find something with the water and the sewer.
We're very fortunate.
It really is, it's like it's a money racket. My parents lived in their house for 60 years,
Yeah,
we all drank the water, nothing's falling off me,
yeah.
and my mom sells her house and she's gotta put a $12,000 water. It's like it's a money racket.
Well, we gotta take,
I mean, I get it, arsenic, that's,
we take, every 3 months, we gotta take a water test for the hall, for the public. And they do not drink that water. It's only used to flush the toilet. We do have an ice machine, but, that's about it.
Yeah, I guess if the board wants it and the town wants it, then I'll move forward with the project and I'll have them install it at their convenience in the next month or so, and we'll get it taken care of, and I'll get the new water test and turn it over to the town, and it'll be taken care of. But I'm just looking
I'm sure we are, but, you guys get budgeted money. I don't know why they come to us, if that's something you guys need and it's in your
I didn't
budget,
ask for it. I didn't ask for the water test. I'm just doing what we've been asked to do.
Okay, well,
That's what we're asking.
I asked for water.
oh, no, I get that, but I'm just saying, if it's needed,
My suggestion is it not come out of their regular budget line. Their budget is their budget is their budget. They have money in reserves, unless you're forecasting purchasing any big piece of equipment that'll be over $10,000. I'd say take the 2,500 this year out of reserves and go with that.
So if we're gonna do that, I will get a firm contract price from them, and I'll forward it over to the town manager, and if everything's kosher, we'll set it up and get it completed.
And you guys can vote on taking out of reserves at your next meeting, because
Can I
that's
ask
what the
a
warrant
question?
article says.
Why was the water test requested?
Because they have an ice machine and they were putting ice in their drinks.
I don't think they're putting in the drinks, just keeping the water cold, that's what
Well, Sean just said they were keeping the water cold, then he said it's gonna be shut off for the next 6 months, so I'm trying to figure out why the water test was requested.
I'm fine leaving it the way it is, you guys aren't drinking the water, keeping the water cold, and no one's died from it, so.
I can't vouch that people weren't taking it out of the cooler when
Right.
somebody was around. I don't personally take it out, I don't put it in anything, you know, if it goes in a cooler, it goes in a cooler. Personally, that's what I do with it. I can't vouch for everybody else that may stop and get ice or whatever, but 99% of the ice that I see come out of that goes into coolers for some sort of,
Right.
you know, an event or whatever else. or
If someone, if
Yeah.
not, if somebody doesn't know that,
Yeah.
they grab it, put it in a drink, I mean,
That's fine, yeah, so,
it's a public building, I think it should have,
Okay.
you know,
and I'm fine with that, if
Yeah.
that's what we wanna do, but, yeah.
Alright. That's 3. You have one more.
Oh, fourth one,
Stairs.
the stairs out back.
Okay.
The egress stairs off the back of the station that we found back a couple months ago that were written up by Maine Bureau of Labor. We've been ahead looking at them and evaluating them. I found a couple of different steel fabricating contractors that have come in and looked at it. I've also had my boss at work look at it. We're trying to come up with a plan to replace the stairs out back for a long-term fix. Those stairs have been in at least 30 years. They're pressure treated. They were put in by a couple of guys that were off from BIW at the time. They've served a purpose. No fault to them. They're old. They're really beyond disrepair as far as like, let's put $5,000 into them because we're gonna get another 5 years out of them. So the thought is to get a new steel structure built out there, out of steel or aluminum. We're looking at both options on it, so that it will last another 25, 30 plus years. Involving that, it would be taking down the old stairs, removing them from the property, you know, they'd go into a dumpster and be gone. And then if we do go to a new set of stairs, it was recommended we put in 6 new footings for it, to support the weight. The ones we have there, they've been adequate, but if we're gonna put a nice new structure on it, we really should put in new footings to hold the, new stairs so that we don't put a nice structure on something and then a year from now, we have something settled, so. I'm working through the process with a couple of the fabricators. It is gonna be more than $10,000, so I guess my question is, are we gonna do by town statute or whatever, we have to go through a bid process, correct?
For the procurement policy, unless it's a specialized item, you are correct.
Okay, so if that's the case, then I need to get them designed out, and I need to get a description of them done, the job done, and it needs to go out to bid at some point. My thought is it's gonna be probably early mid-spring by the time I get them drawn up and get it taken care of, and a bid package put together and all that to get it sent out. So I'm still looking at some sort of April, May timeline to maybe get this thing rolling, or at least fixed, so that we come off the Maine Bureau of Labor's naughty list for the bad stairs out back, so. But I'm trying to take and spearhead that project so we can move forward with that and get those replaced, so.
As long as you keep your tape up, we're okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the way it's gonna be. I mean, they,
That's what they got the picture of saying, do
Yeah.
not use or
so.
danger or whatever it said.
So if that's the way it has to be done, then we'll work through it, and I'll get a bid package together at some point and work on that. It's gonna take a little time, and then, come up with a proposal and send it out, I guess, or however you,
I don't mind working with you on that if you'd like.
I gotta get the job description all written
Yeah,
up and everything
yeah,
else,
okay.
and then you can figure out
I'll
who you wanna
put
send
the
it out, or
RFP
how you wanna
together,
send
sure.
it out, but, yeah, so. Talking with most of the contractors that I've talked to, this is not something they could just jump on next week anyway. Most anybody that has any work out there, it's gonna be probably spring, especially if we're doing new concrete footings and whatnot for it. It's not the time of year to be putting concrete in for something like this. It's easier just to wait, do it in the spring and when we have a little bit better weather and get them in and be done that way, so. It would be a complete rebuild from the ground up and go from there, so.
Alright.
Any questions on that? So, that is moving forward, it's just design and some of that stuff.
thanks for coming over, updating us.
Sean, your card's all set,
The,
credit card.
oh, do we have a new one now?
No,
It'll be issued?
it's, you can use your same one you have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Spence can do?
Yes,
Okay, I'll let him know.
it should work.
Okay. Okay.
We resolved it yesterday.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll leave this for you guys. I'll email it to you, but I'll leave this. This is that budget breakdown for you.
Thank you.
Okay. And I'll forward you the other one
Okay,
that Rick sent today or yesterday. for
Okay.
Updates on that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too, have a great holiday, good
Oh.
to see you.
Are you in tomorrow? Yes. I'll wait. I'll
Alright,
see you
moving
before
on,
4:30.
old business,
Okay.
the 2027 mowing contract proposals.
So at your meeting last month, you did look at 2 mowing bids that had been submitted, one from Voltac Yardwork and one from First Alarm Lawn Care. I did have an opportunity to look at them, also look at the budget that we have for this upcoming fiscal year. Currently, we have $13,500 appropriated for fiscal year '26. Using Voltac Yardworks number, we'd be about short about $6,000 in this budget. Using First Alarms for '26, we would be about $10,500 short. It's your choice if you would like me to send this back out. The concern that I have is as we get closer to spring, people have already secured jobs. We may not even get any bids. We only got 2 this time. They're hungry right now, they want the jobs. You always have the option moving forward if that budget line is overdrawn, that with a 3-3 vote, you can, a 3-person select board vote, you can move funds from lines that are over or not spent. So it's up to this board what you'd like me to do.
I'm fine with putting it back out, make sure Alex gets a bid this time, so he can put a bid on it. And that would be probably a savings right there. That's my opinion.
Alex, just to let you know, he was on the list, I'm not sure, well, Alex and I had a discussion about that. But certainly, I'll take direction from you if you'd like me to send it back out.
Mike, thoughts, comments?
Well, when you say for the 26th, are you just saying from when we start mowing in spring to the end of June? Or are you saying all of 26?
Well, they have done it for the summer maintenance, so we'd have to adjust a little bit on 27's budget to include the following, how do I explain this to you? From July 1 to June 30th in fiscal year '27, I'd have to adjust for a little bit of difference in the installments, because it goes a calendar year on this contract. We're running a fiscal year. So it would have to, the numbers will match up over 2 years, but it's not gonna, it's gonna look funky.
Want to send it back out, put it back out? What up?
I'm okay with sending it back out.
Do you want me to send it to the same people again and just, what's your choice? Because now these numbers are out there. If you wanna amend anything, what would you like to do?
I don't think we need to add anybody else. 'Cause
How many did you send it to?
Yeah,
No, I think there was 8 or 10 on that list.
I mean, I think
I can actually tell you, because 3 of them came back. If I gave them the list, hold on. I know there was 8 or 10 on there, so, yeah, hold on. I don't have the list right here with me,
okay.
but I can send it back out to all of them again.
I'm good with sending it out again, so if you would do that for us,
I
that'd
will.
be great,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
All right, legal, none, written communications, town managers. Yes, that in there.
I have a couple of things, just let me find my notes here. Two pieces of paper here. Let's see if I can do it off my memory. I would like to bring back to this board a couple of things at your December meeting, if you would entertain that. One is to discuss the possibility, since the vote was declined for financing of possible new town office. Obviously, we're kind of back to square one. I'd like to talk about using some of the reserve funds to build a wall here to move forward with our commercial kitchen. We did get a refrigerator donated, so if this board is okay with discussing that at the next meeting. I'd like to do that, if you're okay with that. Yes, okay. The other thing was that the Charter Commission was voted down in November. There is an option that this board can consider, that we can work on looking at charter amendments by single subjects, and at that point take those single subjects back to the voters in June. So in other words, if you wanted to talk about the elected boards, a Board of Appeals, Planning Board, and that sort of thing, there'd be a subject matter saying, reconsider all the elected boards, and it would be put out with the new language of what should be suggested for the charter, and then they would vote on just that section, as opposed to completely reopening the charter. When I did talk to the attorney about it, because he called the day after, he said, well, this is now an option for the town to consider. So my question to you is, are you okay with me working towards that to eventually bring back to the June meeting? We can discuss it at the next meeting if you would so choose, or myself with one of you or a public member can work through some suggestions. You'd have a public hearing, and then it would come to June town meeting. As we all know, there are some things that need updating in that charter.
I'm fine with talking about it at the next meeting.
You wanna talk about it next meeting?
Mike, you okay for
Oh,
that?
yeah, I'm fine, yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about it in December, okay, all right. Is that it? All right, town office report, I have that. Code enforcement, we have that one as well. And then animal control. Oops, yes, it's in here. Fire chief report.
Is in there.
Perfect. And then RSU number 12, school board. Anybody wanna talk about that?
Superintendent Tuttle's report is in there.
Perfect. Okay. Moving on, verbal communications, anything from our board?
You gonna do them first? No?
I mean, I can.
No, well, that's fine, well. I talked with Ernie Shaw, he cleaned up the end of the Hankinson Road, 226 looking north. There was a lot of brush here. When you were sitting there looking north to enter the highway, the roadway, it was difficult to see, so I believe he did that yesterday, today.
Yesterday, I believe, yeah.
I've noticed CMP is putting new structures on some of the telephone and some of our power lines, taking down the wooden poles and putting up the steel structures. When they did this 10 years ago, this is where we lost a lot of value, we didn't stay on top of that. So I would suggest that we have them look at that, cause that's more value for the town when it comes to CMP. CMP wants to stick it up our toenails all the time about rake heights, so there's extra value for us there. Riverside disposal, I noticed, so 7 or 8 years ago, we talked about cutting our land on the river. We worked with Jerry Roderick, CJ Rideout, we were gonna go down through his property and selective cut our property on the river from Butternut to Perryville, over there on the road across from me, I can't think of that, Intervale Road. And we didn't do it, obviously, there was some drawbacks and whatever, but now that Riverside Disposal has cut all the way down to our property line, I'm just wondering if we rehash that idea about selective cut and some of the, I mean, there's some trees down in there that, 5 men can't put their arms around. I mean, there's just some huge stuff down there. I didn't know if we wanted to, actually Scott Arnold walked it with us. So I'm just throwing it out, do we wanna look at that option, to selective cut that? While we may have an option to get to our property via Riverside Disposals. I see Ernie dropped off some coal patch in my place. The one spot I do know is right in front of Dickie's mailbox. There's a pretty good hole right there. At the
Oh,
end
he
of
didn't
hole.
take care of that, I did.
I don't know if he has,
Okay,
I'm
I'll
just
ask
saying,
him. He's
I-
coming tomorrow.
I
then,
just
so I'll
saw
tell
he
him.
dropped off the coal patch and
Yep,
the one big hole I see is in front of Dickie's mailbox, so,
okay.
and that's all I have.
Jake?
Has Willett been bonded yet?
Has who?
Willett been bonded?
He hasn't turned in a bond, no. I have to look at the contract, see what the requirement on the time frame is for that, but I can certainly ask him for
Okay,
that.
has he been paid
Yep.
yet for the first month?
I'm sorry?
Has he been paid yet for the
He
first month?
got his first installment, might have been in last week when we did the thing, yes.
I probably should look into that.
Yeah, I will.
Also, he did a job on my road yesterday, some ditching, he had no dig safe and he had a pretty aggressive hydraulic leak in the road. He didn't treat it with nothing, so, I don't know if you wanna look into why he was not calling dig safe, it's not the first time this summer, did it in front of Dodds as well. And I had talked to you about this a while back with the Seals Mills Road, he graded the road right into the ditch. So that's gonna be a serious issue here.
So, I believe that I sent you that email that he sent back that said, actually what he took down was the existing road, but because there was so much buildup, it appeared that it made the road larger.
We'll go take a ride over, you'll see what I'm talking about. The culverts won't even work, there's a foot and a half of dirt the whole way.
Okay.
And the bottom of the hill is all flooded. So, my understanding that when our warrants come out, that the board signs the warrant and the checks go out, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So why are checks leaving the door before the warrants are signed?
Well, I mean, the bills have due dates, so some of those bills have to be paid. If you guys wanna come in every week, we can certainly work on that. So, if not, they're gonna be sitting here 3 or 4 weeks.
Right, but why don't we put them in the month before and they get paid on time? There's a lot of checks leaving this building that aren't dated, that are just leaving, that's, in my opinion, that's not good business.
What do you mean not dated?
Well, they're not an urgent, I mean, there's obviously 30 days, but if you got it in the private meeting, it should be in the private warrant. I just think we should work better at that, rather than getting checks out the door before we sign the warrants, because that could come back and backfire on us on certain projects.
Okay, I will call you guys every time there's a warrant, and I would ask that you come in that same day to
Perfect.
sign it.
Sounds good.
Can I speak on that?
Sure, go ahead.
Way back, we used to have to stop in every 2 weeks. That way, bills could get paid in a timely manner, but select people didn't have to be here. Cause I think your comment to the selectmen just now was borderline inappropriate. You can't, they do have a right to sign warrants and know what's going on, just like you have a right to pay bills. But pretty much any business around that does business with a town understands they can't run in today and get a check, or the chances of that happening are zero. So maybe a compromise would be every 2 weeks.
We do a warrant every week.
Mhm. And us as a board knows that, so we can stop in and sign them at any time.
I think you only need one signature now too, don't you?
No, that would be for state funding,
Mhm.
like
I
motor
thought we-
vehicle.
I thought we changed that years ago.
No,
We
you
had
still
our,
have to have, you can't, that's a state law, you need a majority of the board.
well, we changed something years ago when we were in our
Payroll.
scandal.
Payroll. You can
Steve
sign
helped us do
payroll.
That
that.
was payroll, because employees have to be paid.
But as a board, we know we have bills that go out. We know we have warrants weekly, so it is on our select board to make sure that we're available to come in and sign those. We can come in weekly and sign them, they're always in our box, so we need to take ownership of that as well.
Absolutely, I
So-
just think it's a good thing to get used to, habit to get into, rather than saying, cancel the door, and no one signed off on it, that's just dangerous.
But we also need to realize that some bills don't come in, their billing cycle from our vendors are not gonna come in to have it a month ahead. So we're gonna have to make sure that we're available, and there'll be a lot more warrants, which is fine. But she'll have to get them in as soon, so we'll
Alright.
be
Up to
chasing,
speed with it.
we'll be chasing over here, which is fine to do, but. Alright, anything else?
Yeah,
I see a list.
the roadside cutting, did that go out to bid?
That did not go up to bid. Well, I reached out to 3 different people, and out of the 3 different people, only the normal person that we had does not do it anymore. I reached out to 2 others, they declined us, and then the 3rd one we grabbed because that's all I had. So,
Because it's over, well over $30,000 for its cleanup, and it's just
for roadside, not roadside.
cutting the
no.
brush, the trees, burning shovel.
Oh, no, that was a request to have the roads cleaned up before winter, so we knew the ice
Right,
was
but I get it, but it's
hitting.
over $10,000 should have went out to bid, that's what I'm getting at. Over $30,000 journey is a bit aggressive.
But she did send them, she did call 3 different vendors that
That's
we,
for the road mowing.
No, that was for road mowing.
okay. Got it.
Ernie has always had the job of cutting the sides of the road before winter.
Right, I understand.
Scott Tilton did it for years and years and years, and
Also, for the next meeting on the agenda, I'd like to have discussion on, the future at the sand shed, the woodlot over there, on,
They would break down both sides of the road.
the future of the town over there, discussion, maybe some cutting and whatnot. That's all that.
They actually gave her a wood cutter that I would like to talk about too over there, so maybe that guy can help us out there.
Figure who just did Nelson Road, the Headston section of Nelson Road. They went up one side and down the other with a mini X with a brush cutter on it. It's beautiful.
Lucas.
No,
No,
No.
there's another guy, we had another guy do ours on Bethesda. There's a bunch of.
I did see Lucas on Nelson out there 2 months ago.
no, they just did it last week,
Right.
this week. It was just a couple guys, mini X and a drop.
Nice. Alright. I don't have anything right now, I think they've covered what I was gonna bring up. So we're moving on to committees. Sutton Dot with their mini hats.
Christmas social, that's gonna be Saturday, the 29th, from 12 to 3 here in the office. The town manager is reading a Christmas story to the children. We'll have various crafts going on, that the office staff are coming in to run that and do that. We'll have cotton candy, popcorn for the kids to enjoy, and we have some gifts to give out that was donated for that purpose. And the community dinner, that is also that same day. we've had some businesses step up and ask to sponsor the dinner itself. So we've had some money come in for that. And hopefully the dessert auction, what we raise there will cover the cost of that meal. For giving the free meal to people. We chose to have enough for 100 residents because we, in the past, have only served about 88 dinners, so we're gonna do 100. You guys okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. The tree lighting, the board had asked that we see if we could get the tree donated this year. And it was donated by a local business. And I went with her today and we picked out the tree. Our only guideline was it needed to be at least 20 feet tall. So have fun bringing that back.
I don't know where you got that guideline.
The tree lighting at 6:30 that same evening, we have the use of the snack shack, so we'll have the cotton candy, popcorn, cookies, and hot cocoa over there. Been working with Central Church to see if we could get anybody to sing Christmas carols, and one of them did put it out on Facebook seeking Chelsea residents and whatever to come sing. So we're working on getting the words to songs and things like that. That's all I have.
The supper.
What about the supper?
We talked about it.
We already talked about it.
100 people.
We had them.
Really? Spaghetti, Mike.
We're having ham, veggie. No dessert if you wanted dessert.
Yes,
you pay
ham, baked ham, potatoes, vegetable, roll, butter.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I would just ask, from the board that there's been a lot of work and effort from the committee, and a lot of donations from our taxpayers to this event.
Mhm.
I would like to see, a really strong showing of all three of us at that event, as I think that us as elected officials, they deserve to see us there. We can't ask them to come out to these events if we're not gonna, be there and represent the town. I think that's our job, so that's what I'm gonna ask. And do you have any others? You have any other hats you're wearing? That was it for you?
Nope, that's it. Well, tomorrow, luncheon here, free lunch, New England pot roast,
And those are still well attended.
20, 25 people.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you guys for doing that. All right. There was one thing I wanted to bring up. If we can, I know that we're reading to the kids over at the school. I would still like to really explore fostering a stronger bond with the principal. I know that's not been easy, but if, we could still look, I know Mike and I have said having the kids more involved, maybe in town politics when they're younger, maybe they'll feel a draw to be more involved when they're older. So I'd still like to look at that possibility.
Actually, I've been working with Scott Grady regarding that. He did ask if I would be open to having not only Chelsea students, but possible other schools in the district come and do a tour and talk to me about municipal government, take like a little field trip. Also, he's going to work with Chelsea high school students, no matter which school they go to, with possibly talking to Howie about getting something in the report cards of those high school students saying, hey, if you're interested in possibly serving on the select board as an advisor, as a Chelsea student, please reach out to me. Fingers crossed, maybe we get several interested teenagers. Lastly, I was asked to participate in Erskine's Career Day, which will happen in May. So myself and the town manager of China are gonna talk to Erskine students, which we know a lot of our Chelsea students go there, about careers in municipal government. So we may be able to snag one of them at that point also.
Perfect, I love that. Thank you for following up on that.
I also forgot to mention, we actually had readers go to the school today for the monthly reading. And it was the members of our office
I love
that went and read, our town manager and our town clerk.
That's great. Thank you guys. we had, sand out for the first icy morning, that was nice. Without having phone calls being made, correct? Correct. Were there any complaints about roads?
There was one phone call on, that had left a message, asked when we were going to treat the roads. So, but they didn't leave a name or anything.
Alright. I was pleased with the road conditions. Were you? Either one of you had a concern?
I was in my truck, so I had a few calls, they went out early, but it was froze up solid for quite a while mid-morning, and then they went back out and touched it up, but it was the first time I was so worried about it.
Okay, perfect.
They did it for the bus.
Well, yeah, I guess, okay.
Perfect. Municipal officers, assessors, comments and concerns. I think we've covered that as well. So I will make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting. No?
We have an executive session.
Oh, we have an executive session. So I will adjourn our, regularly scheduled meeting to go into our executive session at 7:46.
Just motion with that motion that's on your agenda.
Pursuant to 1 MRS 4056F, consideration of the property abatement of real estate taxes.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Perfect. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something?